Thank you for accessing the DataBank's Attestation training video, Attesting to Compliance with Reporting Requirements. In this training video, we will explore the addition of the attestation process to the registration, renewal, and compliance pages. To ensure that all state licensing boards report to the DataBank as required by law, the Division of Practitioner Databanks, DPDB, has embarked upon an ongoing compliance effort. DPDB is responsible for the operation of the DataBank. Let's take a look at the DataBank's compliance program. State licensing boards which license or certify healthcare practitioners are required by law to report actions to the DataBank. These actions must be reported within 30 days of the date the action was taken. The DataBank monitors and assists licensing boards with their responsibilities through the DataBank's compliance program. We have been working through the Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project to ensure a one-to-one match between actions taken and reports submitted for the 12 most queried professions. These professions are physician, dentist, nurse, pharmacist, chiropractor, psychologist, podiatrist, social work, optometry, physical therapy, physician assistant, and behavioral health, including a review of the allied health professions in each, such as dental assistant, nursing assistant, pharmacy technician, and so on. Finally, the results of these compliance efforts have been and will continue to be posted on the public DataBank website and can be accessed from the website's front page via the links in the Statistics and Compliance Data section. The attestation process allows the DataBank to account for those professions that are not the 12 most queried professions. In the past, boards participating in the attestation process completed a paper form. The attestation process allows entities to certify that they are maintaining reporting compliance for the professions they regulate. Who may complete the attestation process? Either the DataBank administrator or a user with reporting privileges must complete the attestation process. Part of the attestation process will require you to verify which professions you regulate. For each of the professions identified, you will be asked to attest that you have submitted all reportable actions for the time frame under review. Professions previously reviewed in the 12 most queried professions are exempt from attestation. The attestation process will take place during the current DataBank registration renewal and during each subsequent renewal. Please remember the selections you make during the attestation process will be posted publicly to the DataBank website. If you attest that you are fulfilling your reporting requirements for a profession, then that profession will be listed as attested. If you cannot attest that you are fulfilling your reporting requirements for a profession, then that profession will be listed as could not attest. If you do not complete the attestation process by the due date, your non-attested professions will be publicly listed as failed to attest. Through the attestation process and Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project, the DataBank is verifying that all state licensing boards are complying with DataBank reporting requirements. The attestation enhancement allows the user to complete the attestation process through the DataBank system at the end of the entity registration renewal process or through the compliance page. For this demonstration, we'll go through the registration renewal option. So let's assume that the entity renewal has been completed and submitted, and we are ready to select Continue to Attestation. This will take you to the Attestation page. On this page, you will see the purpose of the attestation. What you will need to know before you get started is the date the attestation is due by and the time frame to which you are attesting. You will also be able to access this attestation tutorial from this page. Now you can choose to select the I'm Ready to Start button or the I Will Do This Later button. The latter option will exit the workflow and allow you to return to the attestation process in the future through the Compliance Options screen. For this demonstration, we will select the I'm Ready to Start button. This will take you to the Select Professions page. On this page, you will verify the professions which you have reported with an action date falling in the attestation date range shown. You will see a pre-populated list of all the professions for which you have either already reported or identified through the report forwarding service. As we can see, this list includes professions that are part of the 12 most queried professions Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project. These professions are exempt from the attestation process. The number of reports submitted with an action date during the attestation date range will be shown for each reported profession. You must verify that the professions listed here are correct. On this Attestation Not Required screen, you will be informed that all of your professions are covered by the Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project, and thus no attestation is required. This is because all of the professions listed in the example were part of the 12 most queried professions and do not require attestation. Let's take a look at a different example. This entity regulates some professions that are in the 12 most queried group and a profession, X-ray technician, that is not. On this page, you will see a pre-populated list of all the professions that have either already been reported on or otherwise identified. Notice the number of reports shown having an action date falling in the attestation date range. Remember, professions that are part of the 12 most queried group and for which no attestation is required will not involve attestation on the following screens. The professions on this screen will be pre-checked, so any professions for which your organization is not responsible for must be unchecked. So uncheck the box of any profession you no longer regulate nor report. For this demonstration, let's assume you no longer report on nurses because that responsibility has been moved to a different board, so uncheck that box. If needed, you may add additional professions to your list by selecting the Add Other Professions link. Selecting this link will show a list of other professions. The additional professions will appear. Let's imagine that you also license audiologists, but have not submitted any reports on them, so you want to add them to the list. Select the plus sign next to Speech, Language, and Hearing Service Practitioner. Then select Audiologist and select Continue. This will add audiologist to the professions list. The system will notice that the nurse's profession was not checked on the previous screen, so the Removed Professions page will appear. You will be asked to provide a reason for not selecting this profession. You will type your reasons in the text box. For example, responsibility for licensing, reporting on RNs has been transferred to a different board. The board is called State Nursing Board, and the director is Peter Smith, who can be reached at 571-555-4444. Once the reason has been added, you may select Continue. This will take you to the Attestation page. At the top of this screen, you will see the professions that are exempt from the attestation because they are part of the 12 most queried professions covered in the Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project. Dentists, pharmacists, and physicians, which include medical doctors and doctors of osteopathic medicine, have already been reviewed within that project. Let's take a look at the two professions you will be attesting to, audiologist and X-ray technician or operator. Remember that these attestations will be posted to the DataBank's public website and that you can update your responses anytime by returning to the Attestation page. If you are not sure of your attestation responses at this time, you can save your progress and return to this page later. You are still responsible for submitting your attestation by the due date. If you do not, your attestable professions will be posted to the public website as failed to attest. For the purpose of this demonstration, let's select Save and Return Later. The system will alert you with a message. The message will remind you that you may resume your attestation by selecting the Attestation button on the compliance screen when you are ready to complete your attestation. Remember, you may return and complete your attestation at any time before your attestation deadline. So imagine that you have checked on your information for X-ray technician or operator and have logged back into the DataBank system to complete the attestation. Since the work was saved the last time you were in, you can return to the attestation process from the Entity Registration Confirmation screen by selecting Continue. This will bring us to the Options screen. Notice that under the Compliance Options section, the Compliance button is highlighted with a yellow alert box. In the box, you will see the attestation required by date. Select the Compliance button. This will take you into the Compliance page. On the Compliance page, the same yellow alert box will appear around the Attestation button. Now that you have double-checked the information and are ready to finish the process, select the Attestation button. Because the information was saved from the last time you were in the DataBank system, if nothing has changed, you will not need to re-enter the information. You can simply continue through to the attestation screen. Now select Continue. Since you unchecked registered professional nurses the last time you were in the DataBank system, the system will go to the Removed Profession page. Make sure that this information is still correct. It is correct, so select Continue. This will bring you to the Attestation page. Since you cannot attest for audiologist, select the I cannot attest option and enter a comment. For example, our board has been too understaffed to fulfill our reporting requirement for audiologists. We expect to address this staffing issue this coming month. Since you can attest for the X-ray technician or operator and agree that the 3 reports entered fulfill your reporting requirements, select the I attest option. Now enter the certification information. For example, name, Jane Doe. Title, State Compliance Director. Phone, 571-555-4444. Email, janedoe@state.gov, and then select Continue. The attestation submission is now complete. You will be notified when the attestation information is posted to the DataBank website. Now that the attestation process has been completed, let's proceed to the DataBank website. So let's take a look at the DataBank statistics and compliance data by selecting the U.S. map link. That will bring us to the U.S. map of statistical data. For the purposes of this demonstration, select Virginia. To look up the attestation status on the Reporting Compliance Status page, select the Reporting Compliance Status tab. Scroll down. We can see here that due to the attestation selections made on the attestation form, audiologist and X-ray technician or operator have been added under the professions column. We can see that the current status was set to could not attest for audiologist because in this example the answer was could not attest that the reporting requirements had been fulfilled during the attestation review period. The current status was set to attested for X-ray technician or operator because the answer was could attest to fulfilling the reporting requirements during the attestation review period. The table also shows the date they were first reviewed and the date they were last reviewed. Remember that if you don't submit your attestation by the due date, the status will be failed to attest until the attestation form is completed. The current status and last review dates may be updated at any time by returning to the attestation form found on the compliance page of your DataBank user account. The changes made to attestations are updated once they are reviewed and approved by the DataBank. This concludes our presentation on the attestation feature. We hope this information has been helpful. If you have questions about or need help with the attestation process, please contact your assigned compliance officer. If you do not have a compliance officer, you may call the DataBank Customer Service Center at 1-800-767-6732. The Customer Service Center specialists are available to speak with you every weekday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fridays, except federal holidays. Thank you for accessing the DataBank's attestation training video.